Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jay Cluett.
And joining us are two excellent podcasters who want to own pet sharks and see a Sharknado. It's Liz and Heather of the Nerdy Bitches podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
So I was listening to your episode, the Meg episode, and I absolutely loved it. But during the conversation that y'all were having, you brought up a Sharknado. Like you asked your guest, Shark Allies, which she was awesome, by the way. I have her name written down here. I can't.
Stephanie Brendel is her name.
She was so cool. And I loved when y'all asked about a Sharknado if it could actually happen, because that's something I do, is ask really random questions. But her answer really depressed me. She said it would just be a bunch of sharks in a tornado flailing for life and struggling for water and then being flung to their death in a horrifying act. And it really, I started visualizing it, of these poor sharks just getting flung everywhere, gasping for breath, and it made me go take a walk.
I've seen a Sharknado film. Is that not what happens?
No, they just eat people. They're like missiles, and they fly and just swallow people whole.
A lot of them do splat because they do splat, but a lot of them also just randomly come down chomping, and I don't think that happened because we actually covered Sharknado like the following week, and it's hot garbage, but it's something everyone should probably see. And Tara Reid's Dead Doll Eyes and all that fun stuff. So
I just thought that was such a funny question. It just made me laugh out loud when I heard you ask that. It was, and I loved her answer too. It just made me happy and depressed.
Yeah, we're the only podcast that would ask a shark expert about Sharknado.
You have to.
I'm not sure if she 100% understood what we were going with talking about the Meg. We didn't actually talk much about the Meg, and so we did a 5th episode of Shark Month last year where we actually talked about the Meg. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? When you've got a shark expert on and you're a shark junkie like I am, you go with it, and you ask the questions, and you do the sort of grown-up thing. So
a missed opportunity if you don't.
Yeah, totally.
And then in that episode, you also said that you want to have pet sharks, 3 pet sharks to be specific. Would this be like a Dr. Evil type thing, an Ace Ventura, like a James Bond villain? How are these sharks? No. How are these pet sharks how are you gonna make this work? Because that's another weird way my brain started going during this episode. Like, how would you make 3 pet sharks work?
Well, I guess it depends on what brand of shark it is, what type, what kind, how big it is. For example, if you come to my Animal Crossing island right now, I have a pet shark in the front yard. He's just in a tank in the front yard because I could.
Oh.
But I think if I had them in my house, it would probably, if I were legitimately going to have sharks in my house, they would be in an aquarium and they would be small. But if I were in a dream world where I had a ton of money and, owning sharks wasn't probably a really bad idea for humans, I would have one of those see-through floors, and they'd just be swimming underneath, and you just see them all the time. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Liz is a cuddler, so it would be somehow the sharks would be able to sleep with her in bed.
A waterbed.
To have a waterbed, obviously, yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Oh.
Well-known cuddly animal, the shark.
Like a lazy river going around your house, and you're just floating in tubes with them around you.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. That would be awesome.
Were you all jealous when you watched Aquaman and you saw Patrick Wilson riding a battle shark?
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah.
I just wanted that.
Made me so happy. I like the battle shark. That made me happy.
And then I felt terrible at the end when Aquaman leads a bunch of aquatic animals into a battle that have lasers and ships and a giant kraken. I was like, how many orca died during this final battle? That's another weird question I had.
Yeah, orcas are kind of dicks, though, so.
Screw them.
Are you pro SeaWorld?
If no, I'm not pro SeaWorld, but I'm not pro.
Torment those orcas.
Not pro orca either, so.
Have y'all seen the movie Rust and Bone?
Mm-mm.
Marion Cotillard's a trainer at SeaWorld. She gets her legs bitten off, and then she becomes a bare-knuckle boxer, fight organizer. Matthias Schoenaerts is the bare-knuckle boxer. But that's the movie. She gets her legs bit off, and then she starts organizing bare-knuckle boxing matches.
As you do.
You said fight organizer, I thought you were saying fight orca. I
did too. I thought that's where you were going with it.
Yeah, she started doing one-on-one fights, throw somebody in the water, and they have to brawl.
I was about to add it to my queue.
Yeah. Have y'all seen the movie Orca?
I have not.
There's one that came out after Jaws that's just called Orca, and it's like an old man in the sea kind of thing. This guy is just being tormented by this, killer whale. And I'm like, it was terrible. Like, it's not a good movie. So it's like, well, you tried to be Jaws and you're not, so fuck it.
It's just, get out of here, shark. Like, is that what he's saying?
Pretty much. He's just growling at it, so.
Stop hitting my boat, shark. Or orca.
Pretty much Quint if it was like in the Arctic Circle, so.
I want to watch this movie now.
It's garbage, but yeah.
That movie, Robert Redford, where he's on that boat by himself, they should have added a shark in there, or an orca.
Yeah.
Well, that would be just, if you're on a boat somewhere in the ocean, you're going to see them.
Yeah, that's right. Instead of all is lost, like all is really lost, I guess.
Based on Robert Redford's skin, like, he's spent way too much time on boats.
The shark
Sunscreen, dude.
The shark tries to chew on him. He's just too leathery.
He's nothing but skin.
Spits him out.
It's not rust and bone. He's just skin and bone.
It's human beef jerky.
So I loved listening to your Deep Blue Sea episode because I just loved. What makes me very happy is I think the narrative since 1999 has been that Deep Blue Sea is a so bad it's good or a guilty pleasure movie. But I loved hearing you two say that you like it, and it is fun, and it is a good movie, correct? That's the vibe I got. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
it's one of those that, like, you forget. Like, I saw it in 1999. You're like, oh, that was something. It was kind of scary. I didn't expect some of this stuff. Because, again, shark movies at that time, we had Jaws 1 through 4, and some of them are cheesier than anything. And so you're like, oh, well, this is something interesting. And then you go back and you watch it 20 years later, and I laughed my ass off through like 90% of it because it is hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's like there's more comedy than you remember seeing it the first time. I assume that this is I saw it the first time knowing what was going on, but I was like, LL Cool J is a comedic jam.
Yes. He's good,
and
isn't he?
that song, too. That song.
Deepest Bluest?
God. That's the one.
Yeah.
My hat is like a shark fin.
It's beautiful. I used to clean theater. I was working in a movie theater when it was released, and I would just go, I'm going to go clean the Deep Blue Sea Theater so I could hear that song. I would run in at the end. I would beat anybody there. I would, leave people at the ticket drop. No matter where I was, I had the Deep Blue Sea bat signal, and I would sense it. And I would just sprint to the back and listen to that song.
The lyrics are crap, but it's not a bad song.
It's a work of art.
The lyrics are the best part.
Oh, the video is pretty special as well.
Oh, the video.
That's an expensive music video that they made for it. They had water gags, and they were shooting people with stuff, and there was CGI and dancers, and there was
looking forward to covering it.
Synchronized
he turns
swimmers.
into a shark. It's the best.
He does, right? It's
something
beautiful.
that does not happen in the film. It's just completely different. Anyway.
Imagine an
animal.
All right, so I guess we probably should get into this clip here that we're going to talk about. And I just got to ask y'all something. How much did you love the six sound effects when she plugged in the little headpiece? The whoopsh, whoopsh.
Oh, yeah, the little air piston-y thing.
And then she took it off. Whoopsh, whoopsh, whoopsh. I love that all six of those sound effects were tossed in. I don't know why, but it made me happy. Did y'all enjoy that?
This is a chapter full of great sound effects. The needle going into the shark's skin has a real like noise, and just there's so many servo
there's
words.
A lot of slurpy stuff happening in this.
and beeps and chirps, and there's machines that go ping all over the place. I love the sound effects just in this sequence. It's great.
Okay, so let's see. I'm going to test you, Liz. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Which terminal did the vital signs go to?
The one on the left? I don't know.
Terminal 1.
Terminal 1.
I gotta say,
I don't pay that close of attention, so.
Scoggins in this role really impressed me because I thought he was just the facility manager. But he's
the engineer.
Yeah, he's up there on the computer sending vital signs to Terminal 1, diagnostic signs to Terminal 2, exotics to remote terminal. He's up there controlling the whole thing, and he's the one outside turning knobs and raising fences and doing all that. It made me have respect for the Scogs, this scene.
Yeah. I think they gave him a lot more responsibility than would probably be held in that job. I think you would probably want someone who is a little bit more veterinary medicine, marine biology than just a facilities engineer. But,
generally a mechanical engineer and a biologist, like, they don't have the same skill set.
Yes. Speaking as a mechanical engineer, I completely agree. I would not be comfortable doing this role. So, but I love at the end of the chapter when they're looking at the results on the screen and the synapses are firing. Scoggins' expression is confused.
What's a synapse?
Janice and Jim and everyone else is all like, "Oh, great, this is fantastic," and his is like, he's just bemused. He's like, "I guess this is positive because you're all happy, but I don't." There's like little lines appearing. I like the pretty little lines.
It's like, I'm just happy to be here. I don't know.
Exactly.
It created like a zombie piece of brain material in the middle of at the end of this.
Yeah, that was kind of gross.
They dropped some gravy on some raw chicken. Okay.
I was like, where did they get this Alzheimer's brain? Like, it's like, okay, the synapses are dead because it's Alzheimer's, that's the thing. But how are you keeping the rest of the brain tissue alive? Is it alive, or are we now, again, zombieing it and reanimating from the dead? Because that's just a whole other scary proposition happening.
Is there a room we don't know about where there's an Alzheimer's patient lying on a table?
There's some patient X in there somewhere, yeah.
McAllister's up to no. She's Frankensteining people. Who knows? Like, she's probably worked on many other animals.
Oh, she's horrible. Like, she's the villain of this show, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, for sure. And, originally she was supposed to live, and test audiences, you guys know this, but test audiences hated it so much they had her get killed off.
She needed to be.
Yeah. She,
you know what I was most annoyed by in this scene?
What?
Would be Stellan Skarsgård smoking in the lab. I just don't think that's scientifically sound. Like,
he pays for that very soon, don't you worry.
Oh, I know. That's the best, yeah.
By this time, they've decided that Samuel L. Jackson, although funding the entire thing, is a giant dick, and they could be a dick to him. And so that's a pretty big skew to the boss of the boss of the boss, is to be like smoking in the lab that you funded while we're running an experiment.
It's okay. He didn't see because Sam Jackson was off playing golf when they filmed most of this scene.
Yeah. On the commentary, he said, I made him film my reaction shots, and then I just left and played golf. He's like, and I think there's a quote in the commentary. He's like, I think I was on the 10th hole right about at this time.
So just rounding the corner at this point.
No, but I just love it, though, that he was in there for one day, and then he just left to do that. And it makes me happy.
That's why he agreed for the film. It was near a golf course. That's why he's here. That's what all this is for. So.
Can I tell y'all about my theory about this movie? And maybe you've listened to the other episodes, but we have a couple that haven't dropped, so you haven't heard about it. But this is just a giant prison escape film. These sharks, when the shark escaped in the beginning, this is my theory, to test out how fast they'll catch it, see if it's being tracked. And then later on, when McAllister's in her office, the shark watches where she puts her research and sees exactly where that is. And then also, right before this, for Carter Blake to get that 8,000-pound shark onto that landing platform, it had to have had help from the shark. Because he couldn't pull that thing up. So all these sharks are just helping. And I love in this scene when they stick the whoopsh, whoopsh, whoopsh into the shark and it jumps up in the air. Because it almost gives up its game right there.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wait, I should chill. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then
Keep calm, guys. It's cool. Yeah.
And then it goes back to sleep. And Carter Blake's like, oh, he's just dreaming. And the thing's like, whew.
It's a bad dream.
Yeah.
Yes, because sharks do a lot of dreaming. And I'm pretty sure that's a real thing. Sure.
I like how she's like, when the shark does move, like, because he's trying to keep it alive and take care of it, she like gives him like this big old scuzzy, like, how dare you allow the shark to move?
Right.
Okay, that's a little out of his control. You see his size compared to the shark, right?
Mm-hmm.
She does melt him with that. I loved it.
Yeah, I feel like this movie was made by people who've never seen a shark before. They've heard of them, and they saw maybe a drawing of one. Jaws. Yeah, they might have watched Jaws, but they don't really know it. They did not call the executive director of Shark Allies and ask questions. That's for sure.
No, they did not.
Well, I listened to your episode on the Meg as well when you had the woman from Shark Allies, and I think on that show you talked about she had Rennie Harlin on her. Like she talked to Rennie Harlin, I think.
Yeah, she's friends with him. Yeah.